Hello students. So it is my second class in your fourth semester. The last class you all have attended in YouTube. So I have taught or I started the chapter, the topic of polarization. So last class, how much I have covered? I think we have just discussed about what is polarization, then different methods of polarization, and specifically polarization by double refraction we have discussed, that is in your syllabus. Then what is a Nicol prism, how it produces polarized light by double refraction, that much we have covered last class. So today the next topic of this chapter is about the production and analysis of production and analysis of linearly polarized, circularly polarized, and elliptically polarized light. Elliptically polarized light. That means the polarized light is of three types. It is either linearly polarized, or it is also called plane polarized. The second type is circularly polarized, and the third type is elliptically polarized light. So I'll give the theoretical discussion about it. Then practical application method we'll discuss. So how this type of polarized light can be produced? The theory behind it is that we need two separate polarized light. When two polarized light, plane polarized light, they will be allowed to superpose, means they will be allowed to mix together. Then what will be the resultant effect that we'll see. So as the resultant effect, there may be in one case it will be linearly polarized light, in second case we will have this circularly, and third case linear and elliptically polarized light. So we have to analyze it theoretically. So first I'll take case 1. Case 1. So case 1 we'll see how we'll get the resultant one is linearly polarized. For that the condition is the two polarized light, their vibration should be in the same direction. The two separate polarized light, but their fixed direction of vibrations, they are in same direction. For example, along x direction. So we can write them by equation. Suppose for one polarized light, I'll write the equation x1 is equal to a cos kz minus omega t. Because you write any wave equation like this is amplitude, this is frequency, this is wavelength. And for second wave, second polarized light, suppose it is x2 is equal to b cos kz minus omega t plus delta. This delta is the phase difference. That means these are the two polarized light. They are in same direction, that is x, and their amplitudes are different, a and b, and frequencies are same, wavelength, and they have a difference in phase, that is delta. So if this polarized light, they are allowed to superpose according to principle of superposition, the resultant equation will be what? X should be equal to x1 plus x2. This is the principle of superposition. So we will add these two, that is a cos kz minus omega t plus b cos kz minus omega t plus delta. So if you simplify these two equations, so the resultant equation must be of the form some constant a cos kz minus omega t plus delta. Here this capital A is what? This is the amplitude of the resultant wave. So the capital A, whose value will be as per this addition, it will be a square plus b square plus 2ab cos delta root over. So this is the amplitude of the resultant wave. So this equation, if this is your first one, equation 1, the second is equation 2, now this is your equation 3. So this equation 3, now this represents, this is again a polarized light, it represents the resultant of the two waves. which and this resultant pattern, it is again of the same, because equation 1 and equation 2 and this equation 3 is of the same form. So the resultant one is also a linearly polarized light. So when two linearly polarized light, they superpose in the same direction, and the resultant one is also a linearly polarized light. So this is case 1. That means when we add these two polarized light moving in same direction, the resultant one is also a linearly polarized light. So the case 1 is over. That is, for that the condition is the two superposing light, they should be in the same direction. And the case 2. The case 2 will consider if the two superposing components of the polarized light, means two linearly polarized light, if they move in such a way, their direction of vibration should be perpendicular to each other. That means the electric vector of these two polarized light, they should be perpendicular to each other. That means if you write the equation for first one, suppose it is along x direction, so I'll write the equation x is equal to a cos omega t. That is equation 1 for the first polarized light. And the second one, the two will superpose. This the direction that x is the direction of vibration of the light, that is direction in which electric field oscillates. For the second one, it is perpendicular. So if this is x, this one I'll write y, and y equal to b cos. Here it is, suppose the wave is moving along z direction, so we can write it as kz minus omega t, that is frequency and wavelength and the total phase. And for second one, this is the amplitude, and the frequency and wavelength are same, but there may be some phase difference, plus or minus delta, suppose I'll write. So this is equation 2. So this 2 represents two linearly polarized lights in two perpendicular directions, having their amplitudes also different, phase difference is delta. If they are allowed to superpose, or if we will not consider the, we can write it in simpler form, because direction for both are same. So simply this one is x equal to a cos omega t, simply I'll write. Then the second one will be omega t minus delta, because it will be easy to analyze that. Then by superposition, what will be the resultant wave? Now if you simplify this by their superposition, you will get the resultant pattern. The equation will become x square by a square plus y square by b square minus 2xy by ab cos delta equal to sine square delta. So this will be the resultant equation which we will get out of these two. Means we have to do some calculation, of course. From here I can take cos omega t will be x by a, and here in case expand this one, and there the cos omega t value I'll put x by a, then square it out, then adding I'll get this equation. So this is equation 3. So this equation 3, now it is the equation, we know this type of equation is what? It is equation of an ellipse. So this is the general equation of an ellipse which is inclined to the coordinate axis. So for this again there are different special cases. So case 2, under case 2, some special cases we'll consider. Special cases. The special cases is regarding delta. Delta is the phase difference between these two. So first case is, if this phase difference means delta is such value that it is integral multiple of pi, means it is n pi, then what happens? If delta is integral multiple of pi, then sine delta will be 0. So this right side will become 0 and cos delta will be 1. Then this equation will become, the equation 3 will become x square by a square plus y square by b square minus 2xy by ab equals to 0. So if this condition, when this is related to phase difference between the two superposing linearly polarized light, if this is integral multiple of pi, then the resultant equation is this. In this equation, again this is what? It is again an ellipse. So this is again an ellipse, or we can again simplify it. This equation will be written as x by a minus y by b square, because this is x square by square, means a square plus b square minus 2ab formula. So a minus b whole square is equal to 0, or this implies x by a minus y by b equal to 0. What this implies, y equals to plus minus b by a into x. So this equation y equal to mx form. So it represents what? Straight line. So if you see this equation, then it is of the form of straight line. When it is plus, then the slope is positive 1, and if it is minus, the slope is minus 1. So when this phase difference, it is in the multiple of n pi. So the emergent light, this is again a linearly polarized light. So again here there are two conditions. In this equation again there are two conditions. Here I have taken the phase difference is integral multiple of pi. Again we will divide it to two cases. This end either even or odd. So if it is even, when delta is equal to even, that is either 0 or 2 pi or 4 pi and so on, then this will become positive. That means this x square plus this one plus 2xy by ab. So the positive term will be there. Then that will represent, in that case, the emergent light is plane polarized with the same direction of vibration as the incident light. So in this case again we will get linearly polarized light. And if your delta will be odd multiple, that is pi or 3 pi or 5 pi and so on, then it will be minus. So that will represent a line. So in positive, if the slope is like this, and in negative, the slope should be like this. So in this case again we will get the emergent light is again a plane polarized, but direction of vibration, it makes an angle just 135, means negative slope with the incident light, incoming light. So this is the second case, that is again we are producing linearly polarized light. Then our case 3, how to get the elliptically polarized light. So in that same equation, if we put delta, when the phase difference is 2n minus 1 pi by 2, when odd multiple of pi by 2, then in that case cos delta value will be 0 and sin delta will be 1. Just opposite case. Previous case I have taken delta is integral multiple of pi, either even multiple or odd multiple. But now I am taking is the phase difference odd multiple of pi by 2. Then cos delta 0, sin delta 1. Then if we solve this equation 3, then it will become x square by s square plus y square by b square equals to 1. This is directly an equation of ellipse. So this is the equation of the ellipse. That means the emergent light is an elliptically polarized light. So when we will get elliptically polarized light? If two linearly polarized light or plane polarized light, they are allowed to superpose. Under what condition? Having the phase difference odd multiple of pi by 2. Then the outgoing emergent light will be a plane elliptically polarized light, because it is the equation of ellipse. Then again a special case is, in this case, if our A equal to B, A and B are amplitude of the vibration of the two superposing light waves or superposing light. So if their amplitudes are equal, A and B are equal, then this equation will become x square plus y square equals to a square, which is equation of a circle. So in this case, what we will get? The emergent light is a circularly polarized. Circularly polarized. So thus, this is the theory part, that how we can get linearly polarized, circularly polarized and elliptically polarized light. That means these are all depending on the phase difference. If the two superposing light, polarized light, first we need two polarized light, and then we will allow them to superpose. Then the resultant pattern or the finally emergent light will be what? If the two superposing light, polarized light, their amplitudes are equal and phase difference is odd multiple of pi by 2, then we get circularly polarized light. If the phase difference is only odd multiple of pi by 2 and amplitudes are not equal, then it is elliptically polarized light. And if the phase difference is only integral multiple of pi, we get linearly polarized light. So this is all about the theory of these different types of polarized light. Then practically how it is produced. Means how to introduce this phase difference, either pi by 2 or multiple of pi, how to produce or introduce that type of phase difference. For that purpose, a device is used that is called a retarding plate. That is called a retarding plate. So what is a retarding plate? This is simply a material that is a plate of certain thickness and made up of that calcite crystal. I told last class calcite, tourmaline, then quartz, they are doubly refracting crystal. Double refraction will take place. Double refraction, you must have remembered last class I discussed. That is when a light will enter into this type of crystal, it will split up to two refracted rays. This is called double refraction. Both are polarized. So we'll get two polarized light by this double refraction. So retarding plates are what? They are this calcite crystal of certain thickness. The thickness is main. The thickness should be such that when a light will enter into it, it will split to two parts, ordinary and extraordinary. And by according to the thickness, actually extraordinary will go as it is. It will not be affected by path difference or phase difference. So when we see this light is traveling how much distance, and accordingly between these two there will be a path difference, because we know refractive index for ordinary and extraordinary are different. So accordingly, depending on the thickness of this plate, we can introduce a phase difference between this extraordinary and ordinary, this polarized light. And that means when it will come out, then we'll find out whether it is circularly or elliptically or linearly polarized. So a retarding plate means it is a device, or it is just a plate made up of calcite crystal which can introduce a required phase difference between superposing light or rays, so that we can generate different type of polarized light. So retarding plates are basically of two types. One is called quarter wave plate, and the other is half wave plate. Quarter wave means understood. So its length should be such that the thickness means it should be such that when the extraordinary and ordinary will travel, then a path difference of lambda by 4, quarter, when lambda by 4 will be introduced. And in case of half wave plate, the path difference of lambda by 2 should be introduced. So one will be called quarter wave plate, one will be half wave plate. That means for a quarter wave plate, you see, ordinary and extraordinary, the refractive index are different. So if refractive index for ordinary is mu O and for extraordinary is mu E, and the thickness of plate is T, suppose, then what is the path difference? When this ordinary extraordinary will cover this much of distance, optical path difference. So if they will cover it within a time T, this distance is T, then path difference will be mu O minus mu E into T. Because in case of calcite, mu O greater than mu E. So the extraordinary ray, actually how much it will cover? Actual distance is T. But the optical, how much distance it will cover, the extraordinary ray? Mu E into T. And ordinary will cover mu O into T. So this is the path difference. So the path difference should be equal to lambda by 4 for quarter wave plate. That means you can calculate T, that means thickness of the plate should be lambda by 4 into mu O minus mu E. So even if you can get numerical type of question, what should be thickness of a quarter wave plate? So it depends what wavelength light is used, a particular wavelength light for that. This is calculated. So different retarding plates are designed. So for half wave plate similarly, we can calculate, it will be only this path difference will be lambda by 2, accordingly it can be calculated. Thus, by using this retarding plate, either half wave plate, quarter wave plate, we can introduce a path difference. You know, whenever there is a path difference, then there will be a phase difference. A path difference of lambda, one wavelength, it will correspond to a phase difference of 2 pi. That means when in a quarter wave plate, we will introduce a path difference lambda by 4. That means our phase difference will be pi by 2. So accordingly, whatever condition we have discussed now in theory, so accordingly we can satisfy those conditions, and we can get either linearly, circularly or elliptically polarized light. So this is an important topic which is mentioned in the syllabus, and I have seen the questions. Most often this question comes regarding simply short note type question, what is a retarding plate, or simply half wave plate, quarter wave plate, or full question discuss the theory that how to generate the circularly elliptically polarized light. So this part is complete in this chapter of polarization. So only portion left is optical rotation. Optical rotation. I think in practical also you have already done this experiment, that is rotativity of sugar solution. So this topic you already know, and the same thing will be discussed here. So you have seen the instruments, you have handled that instrument, what is optical rotation and how to measure the specific rotation or rotativity of sugar solution. So this topic, same topic will be here also. It is also important topic. That is, what is optical rotation, what is a polarimeter, discuss the principle, working, uses of polarimeter. That type of question may be asked. So since you have done it, the practical experiment you have done, so definitely now you can cover it by your self-study also. But next class I'll discuss about this topic in brief. And lastly, one more class I'll take and I'll complete the course. Only the leisure part is there that I'll discuss next class. So thank you students for your attention. Please motivate your other friends also, student, to go through this this lecture in YouTube. And you can ask your doubts or queries. Till now you did not send any or ask any question I did not find, which I was expecting. So go through the lecture, and if you find any doubts, and about the books, I have already told you some books to refer. You refer the same books because the mathematical calculations will be same which I am doing here. And if you find any doubt, you can ask me over WhatsApp. Thank you. We'll meet again next class.